Hello, I'm Dale Black and welcome to Healing Way. This is the program that focuses on total healing by partnering with God. Now, I was the only survivor of an airplane crash and learned almost all of this information over the period of many years after the crash, and used this information to experience God's healing and learn how, why, who, when God heals. And I was miraculously able to spend my entire career as an airline pilot instructor and spent many years as an FAA examiner, giving jet type ratings and ATP certificates. I was an aviation safety consultant, and I'm using that information and that skill set used over a period of decades to follow God's leading. And we're using those skills to unlock the truths about your health and how God heals and how and when to use medical knowledge to your benefit. In the last episode, I talked to you about how the way you are living is the primary contributor to chronic disease, and that includes cancer. How you are thinking, praying, speaking, what you're eating, drinking, and how you're handling stress. These are primary factors that create chronic disease. But the good news is these are all controllable factors. If they're controllable, that means you can change them. And you can change all of this gradually and become healthy from the inside out and stay healthy by working with God and attacking sickness and disease at the cellular level. Now today we're talking about cause and effect. These are the rules that affect you every single day of your life. Are you ready? Let's get started. We live in a world that is ruled by cause and effect. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Your choices do matter. How you think and what you put into your mouth matters greatly. Even what you put on your body matters. The location of where you live can have an effect. The type of water you drink and bathe in can also play a part. Where you work can be a factor. All of your choices combined make a difference. Now, most diseases, and this includes cancer, are the result of multiple health-destroying factors in your life that all come together simultaneously. And these are the factors that wipe out your God-given immune system, which is your primary protector against all sickness and disease. Now, the medical industry will tell you otherwise. They'll tell you that you have no responsibility in chronic disease. It was just bad luck that you got such and such a sickness or disease. But truth is truth. There are tens of thousands of cancer patients, heart disease patients, kidney disease patients, or more, who are finding their way into permanent health through alternative non-toxic methods. And some of these people are discovering all of this after the medical system has done all they can do without success and left them with no hope of healing, sending them home saying, "There's nothing more we can do." Now, how can this be if all of these diseases, including cancer, are so incurable? Then how could tens of thousands of people find a cure or remission of cancer, permanent remission? You see, these truths work for almost all diseases, not just cancer. Charlotte Gerson, the daughter and torchbearer of the famous Jewish doctor Max Gerson, she says, when a cancer patient learns how to reverse cancer, it's interesting. The body heals itself of almost all other chronic diseases too. You see, the medical industry wants you to think that your job is to show up for chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, take your prescription medicine on time, and stay under the care of your medical specialist. In the case of cancer, it would be your oncologist. They're wanting you to hand over your health care to someone else. But by doing that, let me say this, I think it's a bad idea. You have one body to live in, and why would you want to turn your entire healthcare decisions over to someone else? Usually it's because you're afraid and you don't have the education, you think, about diseases or how your body works. But now it's never been more easy to find true, helpful information than ever before. And the truth is that you have choices, and your choices can and do make the difference between survival and death. There's a great deal that you can do to promote your health, and it starts with healing your spirit, in my opinion, then your soul, and then your body, and in that order, because you are a spirit. You live in a body and you have a soul. Now, this is how my wife beat cancer, and her story is described in her book. Well, it's actually our book called Life, Cancer, and God. And if you need healing, if you're sick, no matter what it is you're dealing with, if you need healing from God, remember to check out the Healing Way workshops and the Healing Way Revival, where you're going to learn exactly how, when, and who God heals and why. It really isn't a mystery at all. We'll guide you and teach you how to partner with God to get well and stay well. Plus, I and my wife will be praying for you personally for God's healing touch at the end of each course. If you would like to learn more, just go to daleblack.org and click on Healing Way. You can also sign up online as well. After studying hundreds of cases of cancer and then personally coaching almost 100 others through our ministry, I'm completely convinced that cancer is not some random disease that people contract due to bad luck or because of genetics. Did you hear that? It's not because of genetics, not compared to the specialists who are learning the truth about cancer. Disease is disease. What works to beat cancer also helps heart disease, arthritis, kidney disease, lung disease, etc., etc., etc. It helps in every way because God built us pretty much the same way, and the system needs to work pretty well the same way. There's medical conditioning that you need to reverse and correct. You see, if nothing you ever did caused cancer or heart disease or some other kind of disease, then it stands to reason that nothing you could ever do in the future could reverse that disease or cancer and bring you back into overall health. Now, all of this can be applied to general health. You may be dealing with lupus or the flu or a runny nose, I often say, but if you know how to apply this information, you can get rid of everything that's bothering you, short of a creative miracle, which I will be discussing in this course. Oh, do I have a lot to share? Oh my gosh, have I got a lot to share. But I'm trying to help you avoid most of the traps of ill health and the landmines that will keep you from suffering. The entire medical industry, and that includes the cancer industry, doesn't want you to believe that you have any ability to play a vital part in your own healing. They also don't want you to blame yourself for the reason that you're suffering to begin with. We're led to believe that disease is a fluke, that we're just one of the unlucky ones that got this sickness or disease and we have to deal with it. But the fact of the matter is, most sickness, most diseases cancer included, have contracted these diseases by the way that we are living, by the way we are thinking, by how we speak, what we eat, what we drink, and how we deal with stress. Wrap that all up in one word, and I'll call it lifestyle. But every part is important of what I just mentioned. And these are the keys that we're going to unlock along the way. Some have criticized and said, Dale, you spend too much time on the body. And others have said, you spend too much time on the spirit. Others have said, you don't spend hardly any time except on the soul, Dale. And I'm trying to tell you that every part is important. Yeah, you are a spirit, and we're going to deal with the spirit. You have a soul, and we will deal with that. That's how you think. That's what you're speaking. Those are your emotions and your will. And you have a body, and of course, in the medical system, all they're going to deal with is your body and the symptoms of your disease. They're not going to be dealing with the root cause. We're going to deal with all three, spirit, soul, and body, start to finish, and there will be no explanation when we go back and forth from one to the other. You'll have to stay on your toes because this is somewhat complex, and we'll try to make it simple. But healing is yours. God wants you well, and you can get well and stay well by applying all of the information that you'll be getting throughout this entire course. Now, that's all the time we have for today. God does want you well, and healing is always His desire. This is Dale Black reminding you once again that with God, nothing is impossible.